Hey everyone, this is Ryan B with Practical Forex Trading. This is your weekly analysis for the pound dollar. So the Great British Pound versus the US dollar. The date is May 3rd, 2020, 11:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the US. If you want to stay up to date with all of our videos, make sure you click that red subscribe button. Okay, so here we see this is a daily chart for the pound. Typically, I've been doing the weekly, but I feel the daily probably for Forex is a little bit more relevant in regards to making moves that'll score you pips, right? The weekly is really the long game, and a lot of people are day trading, scalping, and cool, so do I. So here, let's talk about the 4 hour. I also have our weekly pivot points pulled up. We're going to talk about those in a moment. But my sentiment overall was bearish, with stops above the $1.26 mark. What I mean by stops above is if in the next few days prices close above the $1.26 mark, then my sentiment won't be bearish anymore. I'll be bullish. But I'm looking at this, even though the short term, there's some really short term ascending volatile action here moving up. We're still above the daily moving average. I'm really looking at this $1.25, $1.26 zone historically, and prices don't like to stay there too long. So if we look back here, go ahead and map out the top and the bottom, we can see all the way back in 2019, price is in there for a day or two, then moves out, moves in, moves out, gets resisted, push away, can't get through. Here we see prices go through it in a bullish fashion, but it didn't stay in there for more than 2 days, right? It looks like a 2-day expiry if you're in that range. So that 2 days expired for the pound, and now I can think we're going to see our continued bearish action. So if we were just go by this last big double top high back in 2018, it's at the top of our range. And so even without using trend lines, because the angles here can be kind of subjective, if you're just to lay it out like this, you can see the different ranges, the top range, the bottom range, and now price moved below that bottom range and is now getting rejected, right? So it tried to get up in there, but let's go ahead and take that one away and see it like that. Price is testing it. Now in the short term, we might see some more testing. So where are those pivot points? Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in for the 4 hour. Let's take our micro daily. There we go. Right, that's looking pretty bearish with our recent highs here. Still, could wiggle around 100 pips or so. That's pretty typical of the pound. 124.98. Okay, just pretty much we had that drawn anyways. Let's go ahead and make that yellow. That's our weekly pivot, and price is hanging out right below that. We're around that area right now. R1, 126.40 is our first resistance. So that's recent high, 126.40. Okay. So that would be our cap, right? And that's really the top of that zone we just talked about is 126.40. If prices were to return there, we're guessing that based on previous actions, it would be fairly short-lived. If it were to go above R2, 127.84, so that's here. That's really our last little support back there that offered short-term support in March. So 127.84 is R2. Okay, great. R3, 30.71. That's that last big high, right? We see there. If where price were to go, that would be really the ceiling, making a double top in the big game. So let's see, R3, 1.3072. Right there. But there's a good chance that price will never see R3 or R2. As long as the selling continues, we are moving underneath the 4-hour fast-moving average. So that's another bearish sign. Let's talk about support. Where's our first support at? 123.53. It's right there. And we could see some range trading here. So I like to think about price action moves of kind of like Murphy's Law. If it can happen, it will happen. And what could happen here is that price will just it's just gonna kind of go sideways for a bit before any big sell-offs resume. Um, could be another couple weeks where price really hangs out between 126.50 area and the 123.50 area, moving back and forth. Significant data surprises would be the trigger event that would make our next big move. 122.12. That's our S2. There we go. And that lines up with this last big low here, the 6th of April. Now, if both of those were to broke, if the selling were resumed really hard this week, then we'd see 119.26 is our R3. So all the way down here, or sorry, excuse me, S3. Okay, so I wish everyone a great week trading. I hope you make lots of pips.